On this episode of the 411 from Highway 441, I would like to briefly discuss another issue which has been ruminating with me in relation to a lot of what I have been seeing on television, on Twitter. Keep circling back to this issue of illegal immigration. It tends to create a lot of frustration and a lot of anxiety for a lot of Americans, and I would like to address it as it does tend to come into the lexicon of literary study more often than one might think. We will just briefly cover a couple of I believes, which is, again, my way to share with you what I believe to be true, which is not in any way intended to directly influence how you feel. I believe that if you have a difference in opinion, you are welcome to cite your sources, kiddos. Find the reasons why you believe in what you believe and bring me your argument. I welcome it. So we've got immigration. Recently in the news, they were talking about President Trump and how the ICE agents went and did this roundup, and that there were individuals. I try to stay out of the definitions, the political labels, but there were political individuals who were making phone calls to constituents to warn them about the upcoming raid. Now, I have a couple of issues with this on the principle of let me stand with ICE. So ICE is a system, a set of protocols which have been put into place in America to help guard against violent and irresponsible and dangerous illegal immigrants. It is their job to sort through and determine of the total illegal immigration population in America, which of those need to be gone. And I think that that's an important job, and I think it's a very difficult job. I would not want to be in that position, to have to be in charge of sorting people like that. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has some sort of record. Most of people have some secrets, some kind of things that can be held against them, and everyone can look at each other under a dirty lens and try to find dirt. But it is an important function that ICE has. They at this time, in this instance, were trying to deport people that have failed the process. Those individuals who had already been given the opportunity to seek citizenship and seek asylum the correct way. I'm not even talking about the migrant parade and the huge numbers at the border in the cages. That doesn't even factor into this particular sweep. This was a completely separate situation. It got cropped together. This goes back to many previous presidents, and ICE has been around for a long time. First and foremost, they're not your constituents if they're not citizens. So the political parties which called and gave warning to these individuals, I don't think they were doing their job in an appropriate fashion. I think that was just a play for ratings. Second, I think that the general population got this completely wrong in their anger towards what's happening to families and innocent children, and the situation at the border itself versus the ICE sweep to get out individuals who had not been able to complete the process successfully. We offered opportunity, and many of these individuals have criminal records legitimately and were sorted by ICE professionals. So I stand with those professionals and think that that was handled very poorly. Now we slide over to the cages. It's a very unfortunate situation. I feel as though, again, with ICE, you're doing the best you can with what you've got. Those facilities, they are mini jails. Come on, let's get real, okay? They were designed to be holding facilities for dangerous individuals trying to cross the border. However, when we were inundated with the pure numbers, this migrant caravan, and we can call it what it is. It's a caravan. They came together, safety in numbers, traveling through miles and miles and miles of the most unforgiving natural environments, and then facing violence at every turn. The stories I've heard of the abuse and the raping and the theft and the murder as these people are trying to flee from their tragic home situations to come to America and try to get a slice of the pie. And then I think about my Christian values. I think about what would Jesus have done? Okay, I'm not trying to hold this against any party. I'm not trying to hold it against anyone's personal beliefs. Again, I try to take the politics out of it, but if I look at it from my spiritual perspective, I just think that these ICE agents are doing the best they can with what they got. It looks bad because it is bad, because they were unprepared. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people are being crammed in to these holding facilities, which are completely not designed to be used for what they're being used for. It's similar to when we have natural disasters in America and they cram hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people into school gymnasiums, and then we end up talking about how poor that situation is, and I see a direct correlation between. It's the same thing. We're doing the best we can with what we've got, but we need to immediately solve this problem. We need to reallocate our resources and prioritize the well-being of our fellow human beings whom are in crisis. I believe it to be a crisis, a humanitarian crisis at our border. So that's another 411 from Highway 441.